Hello my lovelies, this is Nikki in Niagara coming to you live from Niagara Falls. Today I want to show you two junk journals that I put together over the weekend from the stuff that I got in the mail the previous week. Usually on Saturdays I'll harvest my junk mail or that came the previous week, and I had enough stuff here to make two Traveler's Notebook signatures, which is what I'm currently working in, the size that I'm currently working in for my junk mail journaling. So I thought I would show you what I use, what I put into these, what they look like before I've actually done any arting in them, and then at the end we'll get gesso some pages. So first of all, we have this one, and the cover, or the first page, whatever you want to call it, is, I have cover up the addresses there, is an envelope that I got in the mail. And there was a item in there, but I really like how the person used duct tape to adhere a paper label to this. So I've got not only a craft envelope, but it's pre-cum, that's not a word, but it came with the duct tape already attached. Now I cut it down to size so that it would fit, be a Traveler's Notebook size. So this end was open and I just sewed that closed. Then we can see that at this point an envelope is in this book somewhere, and I decided I don't like these little guys sticking free because I don't like the size of them. So this one I adhered with a bit of spit and a bit of glue to the page that was next, binding it in at the crease. So this was a piece of packaging that came inside a pillow that I had ordered. Surprisingly, this week, or last week, I did not get any real junk mail. This is quite unusual for me, but there were no flyers, there were no ad cards, there was really no advertising at all, but I save all the envelopes that come, I save all the packaging that comes with products that I buy or I get to review, and I managed to come up with some papers to use. So this is the advertising page that came with the pillow. There we go. Then this is the part of the cover envelope that got cut off when I sized it, and I saw that it was a decent size to make a pocket. So again, I had to close one of the sides that was open from me having cut it, and I like having the duct tape on there. There's the back of it. Now you see these little stains? Sometimes when I'm drinking tea in my bedroom, I will set the tea bag down on an envelope to get a little bit of tea dyeing started. And next we have a security envelope, which I just slit in half, and I think I had to cut that a little bit down to size. So we've got the security part there, the inside. Now we have an envelope, this isn't a security one, but this was just an envelope that a bill came in, so it's got a window, and that is a pocket as well, the back side of it. Then we received some mailing from the bank, not even our bank, one of those things that wants you to get their credit card, and I put that piece in. This is actually a trifold, and we'll see what it looks like on the other side. Then if you watched my unboxing of Sketchbox video, this is the art print that they included with it. They also included another card that was the same size as this, so I used masking tape to tape the two cards together, and then I left a little space between the two of them, and then that's where I bound it in, so that the masking tape goes on the wrong side of the print. Then this is some packaging from some Freckled Fawn items. I folded it in half and I made a page with that. Now sometimes I receive envelopes, and this time I just ended up with enough envelopes. I didn't need to keep putting envelopes in. So one of the things that I do, and I can show you how to do it if anybody wants to know, just ask and I'll do a video of it. It's very simple, but I cut off the corners of an envelope and then they just slide on to the page, and you get a little pocket on the front and the back. And you can attach, I've stitched this on, but you can attach it with little pieces of washi or even like glue in here just to make it stay. Of course, you can just leave them loose. I find they fall off too much if I do that though. And here we have another, is this another? No. Oh, yeah. This is another security envelope. This time I flipped it around the other way. So this is the insides. And this is the actual envelope right here. This is the middle of my signature, which I used my sewing machine on these to put them together. Now, I've found out from trial and error that 10 pages is the optimal amount of pages to put together in these, and I have to make sure I don't have too many thick pages in each one, so I'll spread the thick pages out between different notebooks. Okay, so now we'll be seeing the other side of everything that went in. So there's the back of the security envelope. This is the other half of the Freckled Fawn packaging. And this is the card that I told you about, the Sketchbox card. I used masking tape to attach this to that print on the other side, and this is what there's nothing on here that I need to keep on this one, so I didn't mind covering it. If I had, I would have flipped it around the other way and put it here. Okay, so here's that tri-fold page, the rest of it from the letter that came from my bank. Here's the other side of the envelope, which I've made into a pocket. This side didn't need sewing. This was already all together. This is the other part of that security envelope. This is the rest of the piece of leftover envelope from the cover. This is the advertising for the pillow. And this is the envelope that I basically, you could call it tipped in, because the other part is here. So I glued that flap on there, and then you got your envelope, which is, now did I glue that down? Because sometimes I don't want pockets. I can't tell. Oh yeah, I glued this one down so it's not a pocket. I don't like the pockets on in that position right there. And obviously it was a subscribe to Martha the Living Stewart thing. And this is the, I've glued this down too. It obviously needs some more glue, but I'm just using the original sticky at this point. So I won't have an open flap, but you can have it if you want. I did it on my other two, so these will be going in the same notebook, so I figured I wouldn't on this one. And there we have that one. Now, I had just about enough stuff to make a second one. So this contains more junk mail, and if I remember correctly, I needed to add a couple of pages to make 10, so I grabbed some recycled materials that would have gone in the garbage otherwise. So this is, I talked about this before in my first junk journal video. This is a plastic bag that feels like material fabric that I get from a store that I get things to review from. So I've used that as my cover. I really like working on this. Then this was just a page that came with some stencils that I had, so I just chopped it up to size and put that in there. This was an index card that I had laying around the house that I had rubbed some, I think that's makeup that got rubbed on there, and a little piece of washi got stuck on too. So folded that in half. Now, Martha, the Martha Living thing that wanted me to subscribe came with a letter, and I can't remember if this is a trifold or not. It might be, so we'll see when we get to the other side. This was a little booklet I got from a religious mailing that was sent to me, so it's nice and thick card, and I put a corner pocket on this one as well, and sewed it on the other side of it. This is a security envelope that got put in. This was packaging from a supply that I got in the mail, so an ink box. This had it folded up. There's like probably 2 more pieces on the other side, and I thought that would be a fun little piece to work on. I don't know whether I'm going to actually have it fold over or I'll just keep it that way, but I cut it short enough so that it fit in the book. This is just a leftover piece from the bag after I cut it for the cover. Another one of the Freckled Fawn card pages that's in their packages, folded in half. This is a piece that was left over from that stencil page at the beginning. I had to cut it down, so I had a piece left over. Decided to put this as my middle page so that I have the same pattern on both, and I sewed down the middle. Now this one, I'll tell you now since we're here, of course I sewed it with my sewing machine, but usually I put them in my sewing machine this way. I use big clips like this to clip the pages together when I sew them. Put one on this side too, and I usually, you know, get the valley all nice and neat, and then I sew down here. But that never really turns out. And you can see on this one, when you look at it from the outside, even though it's straight down the middle, well, wherever the middle is, it went straight down the middle where, oh, there it is. It went straight down the middle where I sewed it, but somehow it just got off of the fold on this side. And that happens a lot. So this time what I did was I attached my clip to the side and I flipped it over and sewed down the crease on the outside, and it worked wonderfully. It was like perfectly down the middle. Alright, so now the second half of the signature. A little word just like went out of my mind there for a minute. So the second side of the signature will have the other pages that I put in. And that's the center page. This is the Freckled Fawn packaging. This is that plastic paper. That's the little tag, that little piece that was left over from sewing in that ink bottle here. So I used one of the natural folds in it to go down the middle of my signature, and I had this little piece left over. I didn't like it. It's too tiny for me to work on. I don't enjoy that, so I glued it to the next page. So that's all one page, which is the other side of the security envelope. This is the other piece of the advertising from the religious mailing that I got, which I put another one of the corner pockets on, sewing it on. Okay, so yes, this is the Martha Stewart Living letter that they sent me, and it is a trifold. Cover up my address there. So I will work on that, fold it up, and I'll go over, fold it up that way. And then this is the rest of that index card that I had wiped my makeup brushes on, and a little bit of tea in a tea bag. And finally, that stencil page and the back cover. So let's see how long this video is. Okay, it looks like it's about 15 minutes. So let's quickly do some gessoing. That's the first step I do in these. And I use some wax papers that I have cut down to size to work in this size of a journal. And what I do is I first go through the book, gessoing not all the pages. I'll have different reasons for, oh, I can't get the lid off of this. There. Okay. So, I gesso on some of the pages. I'll tell you why I'm gessoing on a page as I do it. And I'll just do this one. There's no sense going through both of them. It'd be pretty boring to watch. Now, I want to do this cover, but I don't want to do it till the end. Okay, this I have no reason to gesso, except I'm going to go over the words thank you, because I don't think I really want those to be showing up. So I put my gesso on, and I put a piece of wax paper down so that it can dry. Okay, now I'm going to gesso on the duct tape here because it's slick. I want it to have more tooth when I work on that page. So I will just put a light layer of gesso on like that, and just stick in a piece of wax paper. This side I like. Okay, this is just plain paper, nothing really on it. Don't want to gesso that. I'm going to leave this window open. I like its presentation, so I'll just keep that like that. Again, letter. The art card I'm going to keep. I will probably not do anything to that, front or back. The tag right here, I'm not going to keep it that way, so I'm going to just gesso over it. Just gently. This way, if I paint over it, which I haven't decided I will do at this point, but if I do paint over it, it will, the paint will cover nicer since it has a primer. Okay, no, nothing to do on that, nothing to do on that. This one here, I don't like the pocket being on that page. It'll be interesting to work on the surface, but I'm not going to work on incorporating that window. So I'm just gessoing over it so that it will have some tooth when I go to work on the page. So I put one of these in, and I'm going to do the back of this too. You could leave this one open, and then that way something from the other side would show through, but I'm not going to do that. This is just matte finish, so nothing to do there. Now this card right here is very slick, so it is going to need gessoing. And what I'm going to do first is put a piece of wax paper down here so that I don't get any gesso where I don't want it to be. So I'm just going to gesso the whole page over the masking tape too. This is just a light cover. I'm not really trying to cover up the words. I'm just wanting to give the page some tooth. So I've done that. Now I will put the wax paper over on this side and put it down to dry. And same goes for the other side of it. Very slick and glossy card that is. So it needs to be primed to give it some tooth so that I can work on it. So that's done. Put in another piece of wax paper. And this was my trifold. That's just regular paper. I have nothing to add to that. Again, I'm not going to do anything with that. Okay, there's going to be a tag or something behind that one, so I will gesso over the window on this one. And I think I'm going to put a little bit of gesso, just a little bit, on the rest of the page so that it kind of gives it a painterly effect with whatever I decide to do. So I'll put in another piece, and I've used these pieces of wax paper before, so I have enough to go in a book without worrying about getting more. And nothing for that. Nothing for that. Oh, see, I got a little bit of gesso on it, but I'll just rub that in. And nothing on that. And nothing on that. Well, actually, I want to gesso the duct tape a bit. So I need to do this on the front, but since I'm doing the front and the back, oh no, you know what I'll do? I'll just set it aside. I will. So I've gessoed over the duct tape, and then I get my piece of plastic paper and I'll put it down, and then I will gesso the front. That will just take a little bit of the slickness away, which I may or may not need when I actually come to working on it. So that makes us done with the gessoing. Now there's one more thing I have to show you, is that when I made the notebooks, I used what I could as, right now I'm going to take the gesso that's on this brush and I'm going to wipe it on a page I have over here where I wipe my brush on to make background papers. So that is just going to get put aside, keep the piece on the bottom, let it dry, and I will work in the other one off camera. But the one thing that I didn't show you was that with what comes in the mail, there's always pieces left over that you can't use for pages because they're too small, but they're great to use for tags. So this was on a pair of socks, and I showed one of these before. I couldn't remember if I'd sewn it together, but yes, I did, because it opened up. So I folded it in half, sewed around it, and now I've got a little taggy to go in my book. And here's a little insert. Now this will make that'll make a great tag. Now this I just kept because I want to, this is packaging for something I got at the thrift store this last week, and I want to cut out to the name of the Beanie Baby that I got and put that in my journal. This was the "Do not remove or you'll be sent to jail" tag that they put on mattresses and pillows. This came off of the pillow I got in the mail. And then this is a little thank you card I got from the Freckled Fawn Mixed Media box. So that's a great tag. Here's a doctor's appointment that I had. That'll make a great tag. Got a bookmark in the mail. It was really long, too long to go in the book, so I cut it in half, and that'll be 2 tags. Again, another one of these, make a tag. This is a sticker that came. I'm going to put that in my book. When I cut up the that ink bottle packaging that you saw in one of the books, the little top was left over, and I thought that was really cute with the eye and a teardrop on the top there. So I kept this piece, but I ripped off the top layer, so it's now paper instead of the card. And finally, I finished a box of tea, and I really liked this. I just liked the way that looked, so I made it into a tag, and I'll be putting that in the book too. So that's everything that I wanted to show you. I'm now going to sit down and do my gessoing in this book, and then they'll be ready for me to start arting. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please like me like the video down below, and become a subscriber. I really, really need friends. Thank you so much.